Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna be looking at Sentinel Peter B Parker from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now if you are a follower of my channel, then you probably already know that I have a bootleg AliExpress version of this figure. And that is because first I was curious to see how good that bootleg figure is, and then secondly I missed out on the first release of the original figure. But recently Sentinel decided to re-release this figure, and so I was finally able to get the original. I got this guy from Ami and I feel like this time around the figure wasn't as expensive as it was the first time. And it helps that I didn't go with the deluxe version that comes with that lion head, but instead I decided to go with a single release, which is good enough for me. So in this video we're gonna be looking at this guy and everything he comes with. We're gonna compare him with a bunch of other Spider-Man figures, and I even plan on comparing the original with that AliExpress bootleg, so stay tuned for that. That will probably be a separate video from this one, because with the amount of stuff that this guy comes with, I feel like this video will be probably too long. But please bear with me and let's start with the box. As you can see, it's the same packaging that we got with the first release. We have only a small window up here where you can see only a portion of the figure and some of the things that it comes with. Here we have a nice promo shot of the figure posed like this. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse logo, SV Action Peter B Parker up here, Marvel logo down here. This is the top of the box, this is the side of the box, and the other side. We have some legalese at the bottom, and then here is the back of the box. And I love this. I love this decision to flip the image upside down. That looks great. But that's enough about the packaging. Let's open this box and let's take a look at everything that's inside. So here is our Peter B Parker out of the packaging, and I must say this figure is everything I expected. I've heard a lot of people saying so many good things about this figure, and now when I have it in hand, I have to say that I agree. I took some time and messed around with the figure and its articulation, and I definitely can say that this guy is amazing. Such a beautiful figure for posing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's take step by step and first look at its proportions. They are kind of lanky, and that's to be expected because it's the representation of the character from the animated movie. And having that in mind, I feel like the proportions are right. The silhouette looks beautiful. We can see the profile of the figure and then the back of the figure. And again, seeing the figure like this in a simple vanilla pose, I think that it looks really good. But now let's take a closer look at it and at its details. The head looks beautiful. The eyes are really well sculpted. Everything looks crisp and clean. All of these web lines are sculpted and then filled in with kind of goldish paint, and it really looks good. You can see how the webbings are spread out on the face, and then when you look at the side of the head, you can see how they come a bit closer together. They even connect here at the bottom. Here is the back side of the head. The shoulders are also nicely sculpted, and you can kind of see the bones or the muscles of the shoulders. The chest logo is nicely sculpted and painted in black. The texture of the suit is much more visible on these blue parts, as you can see as the light reflects on the surface. His arms look really good. They look kind of long, but that's the art style of the movie, and especially the hands and the fingers. The fingers are really long, and I must say that I love that about this art style. It's kind of more expressive, and especially when you see all of the alternate hands that this figure comes with, you can really get a lot of expressiveness out of this guy. I really love that. This crotch piece is a floating piece, and same as with the lower part of the torso, both of these pieces are interchangeable, and we'll get to that in the accessories part. But here is the back of the figure, and again a beautifully sculpted and painted Spidey logo, Spidey butt, and then his legs. And when I first saw this figure, it felt kind of strange to me that they sculpted the back of his legs like this. You see the indentation there and the curvature, but they've done that for the articulation purposes. And because this figure has a beautiful range of articulation, this doesn't bother me anymore. So here is the front of his legs, Everything is pretty much simple, but it's a beautiful sculpt, beautiful design, and I love this shade of red in the contrast with the darker blue tone of his suit. But let's now take a break from the figure at the moment and let's take a look at all of the accessories that this guy comes with. First, they give you the instruction sheet, and it's the black and white booklet. Here is the back of it with the figure in a few different types of poses, and inside they show you the accessories that he comes with, and this is the lion head that the deluxe release comes with. They show you how to interchange and swap out some of the parts, and here we have the figure posed on that lion head sculpture, and then the stand, how to assemble the stand and how to pose the figure on it. But the main thing here is this page. As you can see, these are the newspaper pages. Newspaper pages that you are supposed to cut out and then fold them, assemble them yourself, and we have the print on the back side of each page as well. So that is a nice bonus, and I really love that they decided to give us this kind of accessory. It's something really unique for a Spidey figure. He comes with an alternate Spidey head, masked head, and this is the one with huge open eyes, and I love this. This to me is a better head than the one that is already on the figure. This is kind of a standard, a normal one, but this one is really expressive, and I love that with this figure because of the articulation and all of the accessories, and I already mentioned the alternate hands that are expressive and dynamic. I feel like this face goes great with this figure, so I really love this accessory. He comes with two alternate unmasked Peter B. Parker heads, two types of facial expressions, and this is also really nice. I love this. This is kind of a surprised face, and then this is kind of like a goofy looking to the side face. This is obviously the expression that he makes when he's licking his after he ate a burger in the movie, and you get the alternate hands that go with it. I feel like you can use this expression for a lot of different types of poses and situations, and so I'm loving that Sentinel decided to give us two types of expressions for Peter B. Parker, and I think that the hair has the same sculpt. Yeah, I think that they are the same, it's only different face expression. Down here we can see the so-called 5 o'clock shadow for his beard. It's really nicely done, and I'm really enjoying these faces. And then he also comes with a Peter Parker face, and this is much more good looking face. He has blue eyes and much more lighter hair, and the smirky expression of the face with like a smile going to the side and one eyebrow lifted. And here is the comparison of Peter B. Parker and Peter Parker, and I think that again the hair is probably the same sculpt but different color. I feel like with the color change and the change of the face, they really do look like two different guys, you know, so that is great. And then since we are getting this Peter Parker head, if you watch the movie you know what happens in the movie, and you know that there are different body types, and this figure comes with a bit bigger belly part here, so this should be the body for your Peter B. Parker, because he was kind of out of shape in the movie, eating a lot of junk food, you know, but this guy, Peter Parker, was really in shape, and so because of that, if you want to make that version of Peter Parker, they give you the alternate belly piece, and as you can see, this one is really ripped. He has a six-pack here, and here is how the two bellies look side by side, and even when you see them like this in profile, you can see that there is a different curve here and here, so that's again nice attention to details. And then to go with this lower part of the torso, they also give you an alternate crotch piece. When put together, they look like this. I'm not sure why we needed an alternate crotch piece. It's probably because of the gap that would be left around this part if you connect it to this crotch piece. This one is probably a bit bigger around the body so that this larger belly can fit inside of that. They really really thought this through, and I feel like gave you everything they could for you to really enjoy playing around with this figure. Now we move on to the hands. This guy comes with a lot of different types of hand gestures. So first he comes with a pair of whipping hands, and as you can see we already have a shooting web attached to the hands. I love the way that they did the web. It looks almost like wax, you know, like candle wax. There is maybe a little bit of transparency to it, and it's not fully white, doesn't look cheap, and I love the way that they sculpted it. The hands look beautiful. I mean, look at the webbings that they did, even on the fingers. And I'm not sure if the webbing is glued to the hands. They are pegged in, so maybe you could remove this, but I don't want to break anything, so I'll just leave it like this. But I know that on the bootleg these things come off, so you can remove it, but on this guy I'm not sure if that is the case, so we'll leave it as it is. So moving forward, he also comes with a hand attached to a coffee mug, and there is no coffee or tea on the inside, it's an empty mug, but this is a beautiful accessory that will probably give you a lot of all kinds of ideas for your toy photography, for playing around with this figure, and I love this accessory. And then he comes with a pair of fully open hands, and I mean, my god, look at these beautifully sculpted hands. I feel like this is so unique for Sentinel's release. This is the expressiveness of the hands that I was talking about, because first of all, the fingers are really long. I love that expressiveness and the possibility of all kinds of dramatic and dynamic poses that you can get utilizing these hands. So this pair is maybe my most favorite one out of the whole bunch of hands that he comes with. And then, of course, he comes with a pair of his wall crawling hands, and you can see the way that they sculpted the fingers, like they are bent and attached to any kind of surface. And again, great sculpting, great attention to details, and the webbings are so beautifully sculpted and painted on all of these hands. I'm really impressed. And then he comes with a pair of web holding hands. As you can see, there is a hole, and again, beautiful sculpt. We'll get to the webbings in a moment, so you will see that they fit perfectly inside of these hands. And then he comes with a pair of fisted hands, and these are kind of strangely, awkwardly sculpted, because the thumb goes on the outside of the fist, and it should be bent down here on the inside of the fist. These hands don't have sculpted hole inside, so they are fully closed. And you know what? I just remembered those newspapers that we get. So I'm guessing that Sentinel maybe had in mind that we could use these as fists and at the same time as a newspaper holding hands. Because if you can see, there is a little bit of space between these two fingers. So these are definitely meant to be used for holding the newspapers. But you could use these as fists, or on the other hand, you can use these as fists, because these really do look like fists, but the only potential problem is that they have this hole for holding the web. But if you don't mind that, then you can use these as fists. So there are some options, and that's always great. And then he comes with a pair of ungloved hands, and these are also expressive and really nicely sculpted. This one is meant to be used for holding a burger, and unfortunately the burger doesn't come with this release, but if you have a burger or any type of food that you can use for this guy, you get a hand to hold it. And then another hand is the one with that middle finger, and a lot of people are using it like this. I mean, I did it in my posing video for a bootleg version of this figure, you know, like he's flipping people off. But as mentioned earlier, this hand is meant to be used with this head. So this is from that scene in the movie when he's licking his fingers after he just ate a burger. So that's again a great attention to details, and it's great that Sentinel decided to give us all of these things so that we can play around and be creative with our posing and our shelf display. And then another small accessory that he comes with are these glasses. And this looks and feels so fragile, but the sculpt is beautiful. There is no glass inside or anything. It's only a frame, but as you can see, it fits the face perfectly. So I really love all of these accessories. This is great. And then after all of that, we are still not finished. This figure also comes with few types of webbings. We saw the first one attached to his twipping hands, but then he also comes with a pair. You get two of these longer webbings, and these ones are meant to be used for swinging. And now we go back to those hands with a hole, and you can see the way that they sculpted the lower part of the web. It is meant to be inserted into his hands. It fits perfectly, and now you can pose your Spidey like he is swinging through the air. And then he also comes with a pair of these web effects. Again, you get two of these, and again, they fit his hands. It's a really tight grip. And this is for recreating that scene where he is like stopping the train and saving the day. So that is great. And then the final accessory that he comes with is this stand. This is the platform, and this is the arm or the hook of the stand. And it's black. I would probably prefer it to be translucent, transparent, like what Mafex does, for example. This is still great because of the simple fact that they are giving you the stand in this set. And the way that you connect these two parts together is simply by removing any of these transparent parts down here, and then you just slide this lower part inside, and the arm can slide left and right in which any direction you feel like it suits you best for your display. The stand is nice. There are some sculpted lines on it. It looks kind of technicky. And on the other side we can see the Marvel copyright informations, and we can see that it's a 2023 release. And then the arm has few articulation points, 3 of them to be precise. So you get one down here, and then one in the middle, and one at the top. And it all feels tight, really well screwed. If for some reason this becomes loose on you, there are screws here that you can tighten up yourself. So yeah, a really nice and simple design. And then we have the head for gripping, and again, this is nice and tight, and it should hold the figure in place without any issues. Let's now take a look at his articulation. The head and neck are on ball joints, and so they give you a great range of movement in all directions. The head can look down this much, up this much. You get a great range of tilt side to side. Arms go out all the way, and they rotate 360. Interestingly, there is no butterfly joint here. It is just a simple ball peg, but even without those butterfly joints, the engineering on this figure is great, and they found a way to give you some nice range of movement with the existing design. So that is great. I mean, you can bend his arms across the chest, and this is without butterfly joints. There is a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that goes all the way. We have a ball peg in the wrists that give you rotation and up and down or in and out. However you turn that ball joint, so the hand can go in any direction that you want. In the torso we have 2 cuts, up here and down here, and so the upper part of the torso gives you side to side movement and a generous tilt. Crunching forward is great, crunching back is great, and then when you combine that with the lower point of articulation that has all the same movements as the upper part, that gives you even more movement, like tilting side to side and rotation, and then crunching forward, utilizing both joints, gives you some crazy crunch. This is forward, and then this is back. So great range of movement in the torso. The legs move out all the way. They move forward this much, back this much. There is no drop down in the hips, but there is a swivel. And then double jointed knees that give you this much. Look at this. It's a full bend. And so here we are going back to already mentioned way that they sculpted the backside of his upper legs with that indentation. That is so that the calves can go inside of that curvature. And so you get a full bend. In the feet we get rotation. They move forward this much, back all the way. We have a generous ankle pivot and a nice toe hinge. Let's now compare this guy with some other figures. First, here he is with the Mafex Peter B. Parker and the AliExpress bootleg of this Sentinel figure. And you can see right away the size difference between the two. And if you're interested in more in-depth comparison between these two guys and these two guys, stay tuned because I will be making separate videos for both of those comparisons. Here he is with Mafex Miles and Mafex Gwen. Here he is with AliExpress bootlegs of Sentinel Miles and Sentinel Gwen. And I will also be making a review for both of these bootlegs, so stay tuned for that as well. Here he is with the SH Figuarts Far From Home upgraded suit Spider-Man and the Mafex Classic suit Spider-Man. Here he is with Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Symbiote suit Spider-Man. And here he is with the SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and the SH Figuarts The Amazing Spider-Man. And so overall, I mean, this is a phenomenal figure. We already knew that, but I had to see it for myself. I really wanted to have this guy in my collection. Yeah, the bootleg is really good, and if you haven't, you can watch my review and the posing video of that bootleg. It's on my channel and it will be linked down in the description of this video. But the original is the original and it is so good. The sculpt is so beautiful. You can really feel the quality of the figure when you have it in your hands, when you mess around with it. The joints are nice and smooth. The movement is natural. It almost feels like as soon as you touch the figure, it poses by itself, and whatever you do with it, in whatever pose you put it, I feel like it always turns out good. There are so many dynamic and cool and goofy looking poses that you can achieve with this figure, and not just because of the articulation that is fantastic, but because of the amount of accessories that they give you in this release. I mean, you can really have a lot of fun with posing this guy and taking photos of him in all kinds of ways. So, do I recommend this figure? Of course I do. This is for me not just one of the best and maybe the best Spidey figures in my collection, but it's one of the best action figures in my collection in general. I'm really amazed with what Sentinel did with this Peter B. Parker. So there you go. That was my review for this figure. Of course, stay tuned for a posing video for this guy. Again, I already made a posing video for that AliExpress bootleg, but I am still really excited to make a posing video for this original. I have no doubt that I'll come up with even more different posing ideas for the original one. So again, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the comparison video between this original one and the AliExpress bootleg, same as for the comparison video between this Sentinel original and the Mafex Peter B. Parker. Special thank you goes out to all of my supporters on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting my work and for helping me to continue to do all of this. And to the rest of you guys, of course, thank you all so much for watching my content, for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.